Namaste, greetings and blessings, and welcome to the Center for Spiritually Integrated Arts. This is our Sunday message, and I am Reverend Dr. Raymond Anderson, the founder and spiritual director of this center. And I invite you to watch not only this Sunday message, but any of our archived messages. I invite you to join any classes or events that we have going on. I invite you to reach out and email if you have any questions. Questions about this community, questions about me, questions about what we do, or questions about this science of mind and spirit, liberation theology that we practice and teach. And if by chance you find yourself seeking beloved community with other like-minded beings, even if you already belong, are a member of another community, church, or center, you are more than free to have multiple affiliations wherever you are fed and find community. You are invited. And lastly, feel free to click like, subscribe, and share this or any other message or announcements with others in your circle. And with that, much appreciation, love, and blessings. Enjoy the message. Namaste and greetings. So, did you know that it's never too late? Did you know that it's never too soon? Oh, we're going to talk about this. Whoa, okay, so you ready? Ready? Okay, so according to Ernest Holmes, undoubtedly, we are surrounded by and immersed in a perfect life, a complete, normal, happy, sane, harmonious, and peaceful existence. But, but only as much of this life, this perfect life, as we embody, will we really become able to use fully. That perfect life, that perfect life is only ours to use to the degree that we embody it. Now, note, life is capital, and most of the times when Holmes capitalizes life, harmony, love, he's using it as a synonym for God. Undoubtedly, we are surrounded by and immersed in God, which is perfect. It is complete, it is normal, it is happy, it is sane, it is harmonious, and it is peaceful, for it is all of existence itself. But we can only make use of all this power and presence to the degree that we embody the truth of what God is as us. I feel like I want to stop right there, but we still got more to talk about. So, so many people say it is never too late or too soon to recognize we have the power to embody the qualities of this perfect life: harmony, love, joy. And that despite our circumstances, we always have the power to change our relationship to the various events and situations of our lives. We're going to come back to that. But until we do, what else? Well, many of us were drawn to the Centers for Spiritual Living because we are a community that is open, welcoming, and affirming, and a community that teaches and advocates for the power of one's affirmation. The spiritual practices offered help serve as reminders that spirit, capital S, spirit is always present and available. We are invited to remember that our lives are a reflection of our mindset. Regardless of where we are in our lives, it's never too late, nor is it ever too soon to embrace our personal understanding of the divine, capital D. Yes, and we're going to talk more about this momentarily as well. So just breathe it in, because there's a lot in there to unpack. But moving on. So today, June 15th, we got a holiday coming on the 19th. So in honor of Juneteenth, we will not only remember that the time to contribute to restorative justice initiatives and to heal from a cultural history of enslavement is now, but we will also unshackle our lives from the mental equivalents that hold us captive. Both and. Juneteenth is a perfect time to also amplify Black Americans' voices and to create new traditions and celebrations that honor what Juneteenth represents. This is why it has become a federally recognized holiday in the United States. And this is why, or this is what Science of Mind and Spirit 4.0 guides us and inspires us and motivates us to do precisely this. Ready? Let's go in. Hello and welcome to Time Waits for No One. I'm your host, Reverend Dr. Raymond Anderson. Today, for those of you who may be watching for the first time, today's show, we ask the question, is it too soon? Is it too late? Or is it on time? Let's play. Our first contestant. Oh, solemnly we are here. To which he asked, are you ready to plan that vacation with your grandfather? So the question, is it too soon to plan? Is it too late to plan? Or is it right on time to plan? Wah, 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 wow. Yep, it's too late. Oh, so if it's too late, then it's, huh. Let's go on to the next. Oh, it's time to eat. The chicken is ready. Come eat. Huh. No, it's too early. It's too soon. Because eating that's an invitation for salmonella to knock on the door. No, thank you. As Mother Teresa said, yesterday is gone. Tomorrow has not yet come. We have only today. So let us begin. So sometimes in this quest or question of, is it too soon? Is it too early? Is it too late? Is it what? It's because we have become ensnared by time. We are either forward focused or backwards focused rather than being present focused. Now, that does not mean we should not look forward to or remember in the present, but we should not become obsessed by. So in the grand scheme of things, can it be too late? Yes, it can be too late. Can it be too soon? Theoretically, yes, it can be too soon, depending on what we're talking about. So in the grand scheme, yes, some things it's too soon. When I had surgery, starting to cut on me before anesthesia took effect is certainly too soon. Starting to cut when anesthesia is wearing off is certainly too late. So there's a right time. So keep this in mind. Now, there's a quote that's often referenced in terms of planting trees, and it says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. And this is dependent upon, can the tree still be planted? If the whole forest has been removed and now it's asphalt and concrete, where you may have wanted to reforest, you can't do it here anymore. It's too late. So our focus has to come back to being present and doing what we can do right here, right now. Right here, right now. So in terms of the world and creating a world that works for all, beautiful. And yet, there are aspects of the world that are already on fire. So we have to ask, well, how do I plant a tree now? What is the equivalent of planting a tree now? War has already broken out. Planting a tree is bringing peace. How do I, in the midst of the turmoil, bring whatever that healing power and presence is? The tree, the planting of the tree is a symbolic representation of what is mine to do. How do I step in as a healing presence? There are times when Tracy and I watch a television show called 911. And there are times when someone is doing CPR and they've passed. You did what you could do. Now there is no more in that instance. But there is always something to be done, moment by moment, breath by breath, until the very last moment and very last breath that we have in and as this expression. So rather than watching the world burn, how do we plant a tree today? How do we step in and recognize that every moment now and now and now is a time for us to change and transform rather than letting the tree die, letting peace die, letting love die? How do we ensure that the tree, that the earth, that life is taken care of? In the busyness of life, I guarantee you that in every person's mind, there are questions, but are they life affirming questions? And are they questions that can help us change and transform our lives in order to live our best individually and collectively? So, what is mine to do now? What is it? Breathe. In many ways, we are obsessed with time. We talk about time management, even though there is no such technical, no such thing. You cannot manage time. You can manage your behavior during a certain interval, which we refer to as time. I cannot make 12 o'clock become 3 o'clock. Even if I take the actual clock and move the hands, it's 3 o'clock. All you did was you didn't change time. It's not time management. It's self management between this time, 12 and 1. How am I managing my behavior, my attention, and my actions here? Did you know that Einstein had a theory regarding time? You know, time is relative and whatnot. But one of the things that has been said, there's this idea that time is an illusion, which is often attributed to Albert Einstein. And he wrote that the distinction between the past, the present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Now, this does not mean that time doesn't exist, but rather that our perception of it as a linear progression is not a fundamental reality. Now, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole right now, but to make this idea something that we can sort of wrestle with, think of time, past, present, future. 3 seemingly distinct points, and yet it's possible for there to be 3 or more distinct levels or layers: inner core, outer core, mantle. All 3 exist at the same time in the same sphere. It's not either or, it's all of them simultaneously. When we think of the states of matter, gas, liquid, solid, all of these states exist. Water is the constant through, for this example, through all of them. Water as gas, water as liquid, water as solid. It's not, well, water can only be this or that. No, it can show up as all of these simultaneously. American Sign Language. A lot of times when I'm teaching American Sign Language and I remind people that spoken language, only one thing can happen at a time. I can't say an entire sentence all in one, right? Like there's a movie, I think it's Arrival, where the aliens speak in a circular pattern, and the whole shows up as one thing, and it's a whole phrase or a whole sentence in one image. We do not speak that way. We don't write that way. We write a word followed by a word followed by a word. In American Sign Language, you can get an entire sentence in one view, right? Like, just as an example, you see three images of the gentleman doing this sign. Well, you don't see it moving, but this. But the moment you add the mouthing morpheme to it, it changes what the sign potentially means. It's an indication of the size of. So it's possible to convey, for example, the sign for name. But the moment I do this with my face, my eyebrows, the head tilt, it's an entire sentence. What is your name? All of it exists in one moment as one package. So it's not that difficult to perceive time as existing all as one, I don't know, continuum that is ever present in the moment now, theoretically. Same as the body. There are various systems that all exist simultaneously in the one body. So in the one thing called time, past, present, and future all exist in the one thing called time, the same way the skeletal system, the digestive system, the muscular system all exist at the same time within the thing called human body. So it's not that difficult of a concept. So simply marinate, not asking anyone to step out and challenge Einstein, but to simply be present with the idea that there are mysteries to our existence, to how we navigate this thing called life, which give rise to the idea of how infinite this thing actually is. Say what? How do I heal my life now? Good question. How do I heal my life now? Well, we would have to ask, what in my life needs healing? What do I want to heal? Beginning of a great day begins a night before. In other words, where am I right now? We'll say it's Sunday night. I want to experience Monday, which will be the next now, my next after. I want that to be a great experience. How do I sow the seeds of it now? How do I plant the seeds for that tree now so that when I get to the next now and the next now and the next now that is now called Monday, I have ensured that my harvest and continual seeding is great day. How am I stewarding this now moment? That's basically the question. How am I living my best right here, right now? Good old Pittsburgh native Andy Warhol said, they always say time changes things, but actually, no. You actually have to change the things yourself. Time doesn't change it. Time isn't managed. We are. Time doesn't change that. We change it. Time doesn't heal all wounds. We heal the wounds. We have to do it. Breathe. What am I being now? Who am I being now? It's a good question. Not what am I doing? What am I being now? Who am I being now? Knowing that the being gives rise to the doing. When Frodo was having a conversation with Gandalf, Frodo says, I wish it need not have happened in my time. I wish I didn't have to have experienced this great turmoil, this angst. To which Gandalf says, so do I, and so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. In other words, I wish I didn't have to live in a system where there is great racism and sexism, where there is political corruption, etc. So do I, and so do all who live to see such times. But that's not for them to decide. What's for them to decide is, what are you going to do about it with the life that you have now? What are you going to do about it? There are hungry people. What are you going to do about it? There are unhoused people. What are you going to do about it? There is grief that you may be experiencing, or a loved one or a friend is experiencing. What are you going to do about it? Codependency. What are you going to do about it? Addiction. What are you going to do about it? War. What are you going to do about it? Etc. And this is not to say that each of us has to take on the weight of the world and do it all ourselves. No, 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 no. But what is yours to do, which is predicated on who and what are you being? It should be considered right to live and to enjoy living, to be well, happy, and to express freedom is to be in accord with divine law and wisdom. To be well, happy, and to express freedom is to be in alignment, to be in accord with divine law and wisdom. Do you live well? Do you live happy? Expressing freedom in the system in which you live, wherever your government or political system is, does it allow you to be well and happy and express freedom? Banning books isn't expressing freedom. Burning books isn't expressing freedom. Removing certain words from all federal jobs and agencies in the United States of America, saying you can no longer say DEI, you can no longer say African American, you can no longer say such words. That's not expressing freedom. And if it's not expressing freedom, then it is not in accord with divine law and wisdom. What are we doing about it? What habits am I releasing now? Well, what habits do I have that are not life affirming? If I can identify them, then I can change them. But if I'm not sitting down and being mindful to identify, then it's a mental exercise just to give the appearance of I'm changing, I'm improving, I'm working on myself. But what are you working on? Myself. Yeah, but give me examples of, I'm working on me. I heard you, but what does that look like? Like, what aspects of you are you working on? Me. No, see, like if you go to the gym and I say, what body part are you working on? You can't just say, my body. No, because certain machines are for certain parts of your body. That machine works your pecs. That machine works your deltoids. That, your hamstrings. That, your glutes. That, cardio, which is your cardiovascular system. Different machines for. So today, what are you working on? Are you doing everything? Can you explain each part, or what's the order? Or it's that. How clear are we with what we're doing and why we're doing it? There's a whole obsession that we have with this idea of time. And yes, we talk about time running out, that if we don't do what we need to do to address global warming and climate change on the planet Earth, we're going to hit a critical point where it's too late. That we've crossed the tipping point, and now we will have to deal with the ramifications of, because the temperature has risen to a point where there's nothing we can do about it now. We're going to have to learn how to live underground and I don't know, stuff. So, yes, there is certainly the aspect of, and yet, how do we find the balance between, yes, there is urgency, but don't let the urgency pull us and our point of power out of the right here and right now. We can become so urgent with, I don't want to be late. I don't want to be late, that I'm driving carelessly. And the careless driving causes an accident, which causes me to be late because I'm not focused here now. I'm focused there and then. So rather than allowing the confusion of an obsession with time to control us, how do we better steward our right here, right now moment? When I was a student at VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University, I learned this phrase as a theater mantra. In theater, if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're already late. And if you're late, it's unacceptable. Time is money in television, film, stage. So I learned this. Be early. Now, what does that have to do with us? Especially since I'm talking about this concept of time and not being obsessed with time, etc. In other words, think of it this way. When you feel the need to change, or let's not even go there. Let's use this because this would be a better biological example. It is often said that if you're thirsty, your body is already dehydrated. So drinking water, getting fluids in your system before you're thirsty is on time, which is early, right? You're not waiting until you're thirsty. You're doing it to prevent the thirst. You're drinking early in order, which is on time, in order to maintain sufficient levels of water in your system. Keeping your gas tank at least half full, like making sure you put gas in before you're running on fumes, right? So it's a matter of recognizing, am I praying now because something has gone wrong? Or am I praying to maintain a system of health and joy and happiness? At which point do I do my spiritual practices? To fix something? To ensure that nothing is broken? To ensure that there is great maintenance, and if the need for some extra thing comes down the road, then I can address it, but I'm not spinning my wheels in a state of, oh my, because I am operating from a place of harmony in the present moment. If you would catch the vision of joy, which would be yours, you must dry your tears. You must lay aside your fears. You must think from the inspirational center within you, which is nothing less than the divine in you, singing its song of life. So, yeah, you already know. Yes, 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 Gandalf, we are going to remix this. Ready? Reverend Ray remix. If you would catch the vision of joy, which would be yours, you must allow your tears to fall and heal. You must lay aside your irrational and non-life affirming fears. You must think from the center of your being, your mental equivalence, as the activity of the divinity that you are, which is singing its song of life. This is about being present, emotionally intelligent, psychologically intelligent, socially intelligent. This is about being the fullness of all that you are, all of your various intersectional ways of showing up, having all of your systems of your body, your skeletal system, your circulatory system, your respiratory system, having all of them working together in harmony and in balance. If you feel sad, feel sad. Do not try to have toxic positivity and suck it up. I'm being happy because that's if I think about bad things, then I'm bringing more bad things. No, no, no. It's not the way it works. That is not what the law of attraction technically is. Be and feel and do what is authentic. That's how we best steward this divine power that we are, this song of our divinity, or the song that is divinity singing itself through us. Someone tells you, it's going to rain today, it's going to rain today, it's going to rain today. When is the best time to get your umbrella? Before it rains? Get your umbrella while it rains. Now I'm saying you're getting ready to leave the house. Getting ready to leave the house. You get your umbrella before you leave the house. As you're leaving, get the umbrella. Or do you get out in the street? It's now raining. Let me rush back home to get my umbrella. Or do you, as this gentleman, dirt nubbit, I don't have an umbrella at all. Which, in the grand scheme of things, that could be fine. Because, there are some folks who feel the rain and there are other folks who just get wet. Once again, this is about experiencing life in full, not trying to avoid it. Be present to it. Breathe. I know Tracy's upstairs like, I ain't getting wet. I ain't. I know, Tracy. I know you well enough. So who will be giving us the message now? Who's got the question now? Okay, yeah, you were right. Feel the rain or get wet. Feel the rain or get wet. What do I choose now? What do you choose? Once again, in this present moment, this right here, right now, we are always at choice point. What am I choosing? Where am I giving my focus, my attention, my power? Undoubtedly, we are surrounded by and immersed in a perfect life. Told you we were coming back to this. A complete, normal, happy, sane, harmonious, and peaceful existence. But only as much of this life as we embody will we really but only as much of this life as we embody will really become ours to use. What'd you say? Oh, we're going to remix this one too? Then let's remix. Undoubtedly, we are surrounded by and immersed in and expressions of a perfect life, which is God. And when we align with that truth, we court, we nurture a more complete, normal, happy, sane, harmonious, and peaceful existence and experience of this thing called life. But we can only embody as much of this life, God, as we will actively allow ourselves to consciously use. Someone could be an amazing vocalist. Cynthia Erivo, amazing vocalist. But if she chose not to sing or only sing in the closet, in a shower, in her bedroom, you know, nobody else is around, is she actively allowing herself to consciously use the full power of her life, the one life, God, source, spirit? No. And we could say this of anybody. Angela Davis, if she did not fully act to the power that we know she has. Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler, and directing. Like we could go name after name after name. Denzel Washington, name after name after name. Once we know that there is this thing, are we actively allowing ourselves to consciously use the full scope and power of all that we are as divine beings? Also, from the beginning, when I said we would come back to it, many say it's never too late or too soon to recognize we have the power to embody the qualities of harmony, love, and joy. And that despite our circumstances, we always have the power to change our relationship to the events in our lives. Yes, and remix. Many say it's never too late or too soon, when in fact, some things are too late and too soon. So our invitation is to recognize that we have the power right now to embody the qualities of God, be that harmony, love, imagination, peacefulness, compassion, and joy. And that we always have the power to change our relationship to the events in our lives, even when we cannot change our circumstances. I embody the serenity to accept what I cannot change, the courage and conviction to change what I can, and the wisdom and intuition to discern between the two. There is only one life, and it is God. Should be no the, and that is God, and that life, this life, the one life, is my life now. And so I live it, I embody it, I express it fully. So we may not be able to change the conditions, the circumstances, but we can change our relationship to it, to them, which thereby, when done effectively, change the circumstances. Civil rights, pre-civil rights, the circumstances, Jim Crow South. And then there were people who, yeah, this isn't right. The women's suffragists, yeah, this isn't right. The moment they gathered, did the circumstances, women's equity and justice, all of a sudden, desegregation and equal rights, all of a sudden. No. But these people changed their relationship within the structure until such time as then the structure, the circumstances changed. We want a world that works for all. How are we doing the exact same thing right now? Again, from the beginning, many of us were drawn to the Centers for Spiritual Living because we are a community that is open, welcoming, and affirming. and a community that teaches and advocates for the power of one's affirmation. The spiritual practices offered help serve as reminders that spirit is always present and always available. We are invited to remember that our lives are a reflection of our mindset. Regardless of where we are in our lives, it's never too late or too soon to embrace our personal understanding of the divine. Yep, remix. Many of us have become comfortable in our centers and communities where we feel safe in our silos, separated from the rest of the world and all the pain and suffering. We must now be drawn to the centers for spiritual living because we are a community that is radically healing, revolutionary in practices, prophetic in vision, and bold and loving in our presence. The spiritual practices offered serve to root us in the truth that spirit is always present and always available as us. We are invited to remember that our world is a reflection of the consciousness that created it up to this point, and that we are tasked with the glorious purpose of healing, shifting, transforming the collective consciousness, and creating a world that works for all. Breathe. Breathe. Some people feel the rain, others just get wet. Some people talk about God, others live it. God is different to us now, more spirit than ever before, and more internal. Most people think he has to look like something or someone, a roof leaf or Christ, but we don't. And not being tied to what God looks like frees us. Care of Alice Walker, author of The Color Purple. Once again, this is about becoming liberated from a concept or an idea that has ensnared us, no matter what it is. We may have been conditioned to think that success looks a certain way, but when we are no longer tied to that idea of toxic capitalism, then we are free. We are no longer tied to the heteronormative, then we are free. We are no longer tied to the toxic patriarchy, then we are free. But we have to be able to identify whatever that is to set ourselves free. And we have to stop dining from the dollar menu. I'm sure most of us are familiar with this, but we dine spiritually from the dollar menu. In many ways, we do dollar affirmations, spiritual mind treatments, journaling, etc. We're not doing it to the degree that we could. We are doing it just enough to say that we're doing it, rather than doing it in a way that truly benefits individual and collective consciousness. So our invitation to truly be free, our invitation then is to upgrade our spiritual practices, upgrade our mental equivalence, upgrade in order to step into the true power of who and what we are as divine incarnations of God. Upgrade. We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete freedom, a complete emancipation, a complete liberation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all in a world that works for all. This is what Juneteenth is offering us and inviting us. How do we recognize Freedom Day, Liberation Day, Emancipation Day in our own spiritual practices, in our own spiritual communities, in the movement of new thought, in order to do exactly what that declaration of principle said. The ultimate goal of life, complete freedom from all discord. In honor of Juneteenth, we will not only remember that the time to contribute to restorative justice initiatives and to heal from a cultural history of enslavement is now, but we will also unshackle our lives from the mental equivalents that hold us captive. Juneteenth is a perfect time to amplify Black Americans' voices, Black voices in general, voices of people of color in general, and to create new traditions and celebrations that honor what Juneteenth represents: emancipation. This is why it has become a federally recognized holiday in the United States. And this is what Science of Mind and Spirit 4.0 guides us and calls us to embody and do. We are at a point of choice. What will we choose? Instead of thinking one way is wrong and the other way is right, how do we step into greater awareness that says, where do I want to be? Who do I want to be? And then be it. Move towards freedom. Always choose freedom. Always choose love. Always choose your divinity, your divine nature, truth, principle. We are not bound by precedent. We are bound by principle. So when looking at life, and you see clearly one aspect is liberation and the other is not, ask, in choosing this, what am I setting myself free from? And what am I setting myself free to? Free from addiction, free to health and well-being. And then choose and be it and then do it. The Science of Mind and Spirit 4.0 offers us a path, a practice, and a way of being that is rooted in the present, right here, right now moment. Because this is where we have the power to choose anew. From the new choosing is the new way of being. And as each new mental equivalent aligns, we are in the flow of a new, more life-affirming expression of the divine. And this expression is the expression of what it means to be free and to use our liberation to liberate others, to remind them of their ability to heal, to remind them of their beauty and their goodness and their godness and their ability to heal all the structures and systems, all that they are. By actively choosing moment by moment, we train ourselves. We wax on, wax off, until a new default setting is in place, a new default setting which is rooted in principle, in truth. And that new setting is our new natural set point, right here and right now. This week's affirmation, our declaration, I'll say it first, and if it resonates, I invite you to say it the second time. The time to live my authentic life is now. And now is the time that I choose to take the first step to living as my beautiful and glorious self now. Together. The time to live my authentic life is now. And now is the time that I choose to take the first step to living as my beautiful and glorious self now. And so it is, and so it is. Breathe. This week's journal questions or Thursday night study group questions. What is one activity that I can engage in more mindfully? What is one thing that I keep putting off as if I have all the time in the world? Oops. Hmm. Number 3. What is my general relationship with time? Am I generally punctual? Am I late? Am I early? Time? What's that? Number 4. What is the tree that I have not planted up to this point that I am choosing to plant today? What is an example of a dollar menu mental equivalent that I have in the past or that I still engage in? And how can I upgrade? Number 6. What does it mean for me to get wet versus feel the rain? In other words, God. And lastly, what can I do to help usher in a new era of true liberation? And so it is. Our practice this week. Are you ready for the practice? Have a conversation where the other person says something that is racist, sexist, etc., and practice possible reactions, responses, talking points, etc. Have a conversation and use phrases that are derogatory. Use phrases that make you feel uncomfortable using them. And then with each other, have a conversation. Did I just hear you? I know you did not just, excuse me, that word's inappropriate. And this is why. The more we practice, wax on, wax off, the more we are able to engage in real world conversations with whomever those people may be, members of the clan. How do we converse with them to help redirect their mental equivalents so that they too shift, heal, and evolve? Breathe as we enter into that space of infinite knowing where we are choosing to feel the rain, choosing to feel, not just talk about love and peace and harmony, but truly feel it to the degree that we are being it. So that when we leave our home, wherever we go, peace must be because we are being peacefulness. We are embodying it. We are expressing it. Everything that we say, no matter if it's hello, good day, good afternoon, is this parking space available? No matter what we are saying, the vibration of those words are resonating and vibrating on the airwaves of peacefulness, compassion, joy, sacredness, healing. In this present moment, right now, we plant a new tree of sacredness, peace on earth, a world that works for all. Moment by moment, we continue to plant, continue to plant, and continue to plant. We choose to put the fires out, to contain them in spaces where this space, the fire is appropriate, a fireplace, a stove, a campfire, the fire of politics, burning down books, burning down democracy. That fire we put out. That fire we make extinct. That fire no more. because we choose to put out the fires within ourselves, the fires of animosity, the fires of shame and guilt, the fires of destruction, the fires of whatever they may be in the secret places of our hearts and minds. But we extinguish them so that we can be divine expressions of what science of mind and spirit offers us to be. Knowing that this does not automatically mean every circumstance or situation is going to be peachy keen, but we understand that no matter what the situation is, our relationship to ourselves, our relationship to the universe, and our relationship to that situation is divine and sacred. And we change our relationship, which then changes it. A world that works for all is not only possible, it's inevitable when we do the work. So we breathe and allow the amen not to simply be something we say, but to let the amen be the way that we show up, the way that we live in the right here and the right now. And so it is. Breathe. Namaste, blessings. Oh, what's today? Happy Father's Day. I just noticed it. Love and appreciate you, and see you soon.